Cost estimation is the scientific way of working out the approximate cost of an engineering project before execution of the work. Estimation requires a thorough knowledge of the construction procedure and cost of materials and labor in addition to the skill, experience, foresight, and good judgment. Ang cost estimate ay ang approximation or prediction ng mga future expenses or costs ng isang program, project, or operation bago magsimula ang paggawa. Ang estimator ay isang professional na nagpre-prepare ng cost estimate at may iba't ibang uri ng estimator, mapa-building estimator, electrical estimator, or chief estimator. May iba ring professionals katulad ng quantity surveyors at cost engineers na pwede ring mag-prepare ng cost estimate or tumulong sa pag-estimate. Ang tamang cost estimate ng isang proyekto bago ito matapos ay hindi dapat lalagpas sa tsansa na magiging higit pa sa 5 to 10% ang accuracy ng pag-estimate. Ibig sabihin, kung sa exam na 1 to 100 ay dapat makaka 90 or 95 ang lapit mo sa perfection. Ito ay importante lalong-lalo na sa mga leaders para makapagdesisyon ng tama sa pagplano o paggawa. Dahil kung halimbawa ang trabaho ay overestimated, hindi ito mananalo laban sa ibang competitors kasi overpriced at ganun din naman kung underestimated or nagkulang sa budget dahil sa hindi maayos na pag-estimate, ang firm o yung team ninyo ay haharap sa malaking financial loss. May iwasan ang cost overrun or cost increase or budget overrun, which is yung hindi inaasang pag-exceed ng budget sa estimated cost dahil sa underestimation or overestimation ng value engineering na i-discuss ko mamaya.
Hello guys, and I am John Paul Hernandez, cost associated with constructed facilities. So, it is the construction cost that defines the total cost of the work to the owner of all elements of the project design or specified as the design professional. The project construction can be categorized in two parts: the initial capital cost, the operation and maintenance cost. So, let me first know the initial capital cost. The initial capital cost. The total cost needed to bring a project to a commercially operable is called the capital cost of the project. The capital cost for a construction project includes the expenses related to the initial establishment of the facility. So, meaning to say, the initial capital cost, from the word capital, kinakailangan meron na agad tayong capital para mas madali natin masimulan yung isang proyekto at para maging maayos yung pagpapagawa ng isang proyekto. Kinakailangan meron tayong capital at meron tayong iba pang dapat binabayaran, hindi lang yung mismong proyekto natin. So, this includes the initial capital cost. First, land acquisition including assembly, holding, and improvement. So, dito lang ayun yung land acquiring kung yung isang lupa ay hindi pagmamayari nung magpapagawa ng isang proyekto at magkakaroon ng isang kasunduan na kung pwede rentahan or pwede ay bibilhin na yung isang lupa. Next is the feasibility and planning. So, in this construction, need to have a feasibility study and planning. So, kinakailangan nating alamin kung ano yung dapat nating gawin bago natin simulan yung construction project. And ito ay kinakailangan din ng budget. So, next is the architectural and engineering design. So, common na naman tayo dito sa architectural and engineering design na kinakailangan agad ng capital talaga para sa pagkakaroon ng isang construction project. So, next is the construction including materials, equipment, and labor. So, ito sa mga kinakailangan sa isang construction, yung mga materials, yung equipment, at saka yung pambayad sa ating at yung pang labor natin. Hindi natin pwedeng simulan ng isang construction project nang wala tayong materials, at isa na rin ang kinakailangan ay yung ating capital. Field supervision of construction. Before or during the construction, magkakaroon ng field supervision by the professional. So, need ng capital or budget. Construction financing. Sa construction financing, it is or also known as the construction loan. A short-term loan used to finance the building. So, next is the insurance and taxes during construction. So, hindi lang basta tayo magkakaroon ng isang construction project, kinakailangan magbayad tayo ng insurance and taxes during the construction. Next is the owner's general's office overhead. So, it is the ongoing expenses of the owners during the project construction. So, kasama na rin sa initial capital cost yung equipment and furnishing, not included in construction. Yung mga equipment natin na gagamitin sa ating proyekto at saka yung ating mga furnishing. So, and the inspection and testing. Kinakailangan ng sarili ring budget ang inspection and testing. Or kinakailangan siya ng capital. So, the next is the operation and maintenance cost. So, dito lang sa operation and maintenance cost comes from the word maintenance. So, the operation and maintenance cost in subsequent years over the project life cycle. So, it is included the following. First is the land rent. Yun, dun sa nabanggit natin sa kanina sa land acquisition. May land rent kung ang napagkasunduan ay yung lupa ay uupahan. So, the operating staff. So, operating staff naman ay siya yung yung mga employee to employed, mga employee na dapat nating bayaran. So, labor material for maintenance and repair. Sa yun, common na yun. Pang labor natin para sa ating maintenance. Tapos yung mga materials na gagamitin, kailangan i-provide natin. So, need tayo ng budget. And also the periodic renovation. It is parang common na rin siya sa maintenance and repairs. Magkakaroon tayo ng renovation ng isang proyekto once na medyo napapansin natin na naluluma na tingnan or kinakailangan na talagang i-renovate. So, insurance and taxes. Gaya kanina, habang ginagawa yung proyekto, meron taxes at walang sawang taxes. Kahit tapos na ang ating isang project, magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng pagbabayad ng insurance at saka taxes. So, financing cost naman. It is the other expenses or the interest. And the utilities, mga bayad sa kuryente, sa tubig, and the owner's other expenses. Profit. The profit is the difference between the amount of money the contractor receives from the owner and the amount of money the contractor spends to do the job. So, meaning to say, it is the It is how you perform your job. It is the performance of your job. Magkakaroon ka ng profit if you show your love to do your job. So, factors considered in selecting a percentage of profit are: first is the size of job. So, the size of job, it is the ability to do your job flexible. Hindi yung nakapokus ka lang sa kung ano yung position mo bilang contractor. Tapos, the risk involved. So, sa trabaho, hindi porke hindi tayo yung may-ari nung ginagawa natin. So, kinakailangan din parang sumugal tayo sa ating trabaho or magmalasakit tayo sa ating ginagawa. And the eagerness of the contractor to get a job. Yeah. That's all, guys.
So the next topic that I am going to discuss is the two main kinds of estimate, which is the rough estimate and the detailed estimate. So rough estimate is the estimation of cost before construction from plans or architectural drawings of the project scheme, when even detailed or structural design has not been administratively approved from the concerning authorities. So dito sa rough estimation, siya study ng various aspect of project na nag-decide ng financial position and policies for administrative sanction by administrative authorities. And rough estimation may be preferred on the following basis for different types of project. Unang-una is the plinth area, which is yung cost per square foot or square meter ng covered area. Most commonly adopted criterion for preparing rough cost estimation for most of the residential building siya. And then yung pangalawa ay for public building. Ang rough estimation naman din doon is cost per person. Under naman yung public building is the student hostel, which is cost per student, hospital which is cost per bed, and hotel which is cost per guest. Then the number 3 is yung cost per cubic foot is suitable lang siya for commercial office, shopping center, and factory buildings, and etc. Under pa rin siya ng rough kung paano makuha yung rough estimation. Sa road and railways naman, para ma-identify natin yung rough estimation is ang gagamitin natin is cost may be found out per mile or kilometer of the length. While sa street naman, yung rough estimation nito is ibabase natin sa cost maybe for 100 feet or meters of length. In case of bridges naman, cost per foot and meter of clear span may be calculated. So rough estimation is yung estimation of cost before construction from plans or architectural drawing of the project. Para ma-find out natin yung approximate cost in a short time, napakahalagang dapat natin alam yung plinth area, the cost of materials and labor, approximate quantity with the bill, and the cubic rate of cubic meter. Which is, itong uri ng estimation ito is proposed by a practical knowledge and cost of similar work. Hindi pa siya ina-approve ng administrative from the concerning authorities. Yun yung rough estimation. While the second one is the detailed estimate. Detailed estimates are prepared by carefully and calculating in detail the cost of various items of the work that constitute the whole project from the detailed works drawing after the design has been finalized. The mistake, if any, in the rough cost estimation are eliminated in the detailed estimate. Detailed estimate are submitted to the competent authorities from obtaining technical sanction. So, kagaya nga ng sinasabi ko, dun sa rough estimation, hindi pa siya ina-approve ng administrative from the concerned authority. Kaya if magkaroon tayo ng mali sa rough estimation, is may eliminate siya sa detailed estimation. Because itong detailed estimate are isasubmit siya sa competent authorities para ma-obtain yung technical sanction. The whole project is subdivided into different items of work or activities. The quantity for each item is then calculated separately from the drawing as accurate as possible. The procedure is known as taking out quantities. Dito sa detailed estimation, yung quantity dito sa bawat item is dapat naka-estimated at napapakita sa pattern ng bill of quantities. The unit in which each item of the work is to be calculated should be according to the prevailing practice as followed in the various departments of the country. Each item of the work is then multiplied by its estimate current rate calculated by a fixed procedure to find out cost of the item. At the end, a total of all items of the work are made to get total estimated cost. So dito sa detail estimate, a certain allowance, usually 5 to 10% of the total cost is made in the estimation, which will take care of all these items that are unforeseen or are overlooked, are also known as contingencies. Dito na papasok yung mga posibleng mangyari in the future event na hindi dapat isawalang bahala na lang. So, detail estimate is the quantity of materials of work that are calculated according to the respective dimension on the plan. Yung respective dimension na yun is the length, width, and height of each item are taken out accurately from the drawing and prepare estimate according to the state. Detail estimate is siya din yung pinaka-accurate estimation unlike ng rough estimate. So, detail estimate is usually ginagawa siya or pinapresent siya through Excel Word para mas maintindihan at maipresent ng maayos. Dun sa detail estimate na yon, nakapaloob dun yung materials, equipment, labor, which is sa materials, nandun yung name of specification ng materials, quantity, unit cost, and then the amount. And doon natin malalaman yung total amount ng materials. So, ayan. Yung sunod is the equipment. Yung equipment or tools na gagamitin, number of units, number of hours, hourly rate, tapos amount. So, dito sa detail estimate, naglagay ako ng example na ginagawa nila sa Excel Word. So, the next one is the labor. Designation of the personnel, number of men, number of hours, hourly rate, and amount. Para makuha natin total estimate direct cost, total cost, and unit cost. So, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko, detail estimate is usually ginagawa sa Excel para mas lalong maintindihan. Sa detail estimate, para mas lalo nating maunawaan, we should have report, specification, design data calculation, and basis of the rates adopted in the estimation. So, at the end of this, malalaman natin pagkakaiba ng rough estimate sa detail estimate. Which is yung rough estimate, siya is estimation of cost before the construction from plans or architectural drawing of the project. Even detail or structural design has not been administratively approved from the concerning authorities. Rough estimate din is siya yung approximately cost lang. While the detail estimate is siya yung total estimated cost and accurate estimate cost. Detail estimate, siya ay preferred by carefully calculating in detail lahat ng magagastos sa various item na gagamitin sa project na yon. Which is through this, malalaman natin yung total estimated cost, nakasama na yung unit cost, total cost, and then the profit. So that is the two main kind of estimation.
For our next topic, I will be discussing the types of construction estimates. The three major types of construction estimates are design estimate, bid estimate, and control estimate. Let us first discuss the design estimate. In design estimate, dito ipinapakita yung progress or improvements na nangyayari sa planning and designing stage of the project. For the owner or its designated design professionals, The types of cost estimates encountered run parallel with the planning and design as follows. First is the screening estimates, followed by preliminary estimates, then detailed estimates, and engineer's estimates. Screening estimate. Screening estimate or order of magnitude estimate is usually made before the facility is designed and must therefore rely on the cost data of similar facilities built in the past. Screening estimates are employed in the early planning phases of a proposed project to match client needs, assess programmatic requirements, and budget constraints in order to establish project scope and quality expectations. Estimate comparisons at this stage are utilized in evaluating the feasibility of strategic alternatives being considered to satisfy current and projected space requirements. So, itong screening estimate is dinidevelop siya before gawa ng design ng isang project. And yung cost data na ilalagay dito ay magre-rely sa cost data na na-obtained from the similar project built in the past. For example, meron akong gagawing project. And yung project na yun is nagawa na siya or na-establish na siya before. So bago ko siya gawa ng design and plans, magkakaroon muna ako ng checking or screening dun sa dating project. Yun yung magiging basehan ko para makagawa ng new cost data. Question is, bakit di ko na lang kopyahin yung dating design at plano? Kasi I still have to consider the needs of the client. Kaya itong screening estimate ay ginagawa before the designing process is for us to be able to meet the client needs, also to assess the requirements and budget constraints. And dito sa screening estimate, dito natin malalaman kung anong construction method ang mas feasible. Next, we have the preliminary estimate or conceptual estimate. This is based on the conceptual design of the facility at the state when the basic technologies for the design are known. In preliminary estimates, the project is decomposed into major structural systems or production equipment items. Itong preliminary estimate is nakadepende naman siya sa pinakang schematic design ng project. And dito, ang project ay nadedecomposed into major structural system. For example, ay the entire floor of a building. Or pwede rin namang i-decompose siya into production equipment item. Example is cooling system for a processing plant. Next, we have the detailed estimate or definitive estimate. This is made when the scope of work is clearly defined and the detailed design is in progress so that the essential features of the facility are identifiable. In detailed estimates, the project is decomposed into components of various major systems. Dito naman, nakadepende siya sa design development para ma-identify yung special features ng facility or ng project. And nade-decompose ang project dito into components of various major system. Example ay single floor panel for a building or a heat exchanger for a cooler system. Mas specific siya compared sa preliminary estimate. Lastly, we have engineer's estimate. This is based on the completed plans and specifications when they are ready for the owner to solicit bids from construction contractors. In preparing these estimates, the design professional will include expected amounts for contractors' overhead and profits. Ang engineer's estimate naman is nakadepende sa construction documents. Sa pag-prepare ng engineer's estimate ay dapat included ang contractor's overhead and profits. Nade-decompose ang project dito into detailed items as warranted by the available cost data. Example ay slabs and beams in a floor panel or the piping and connections for a heat exchanger. Kung baga, andito na yung mga materials na ginagamit sa project. The next type of construction estimates is the bid estimates. The contractor's bid estimates often reflect the desire of the contractor to secure the job as well as the estimating tools at its disposal. Some contractors have well-established cost estimating procedures while others do not. Since only the lowest bidder will be the winner of the contract in most bidding contests, any effort devoted to cost estimating is a loss to the contractor who is not a successful bidder. Bid estimates are the estimates prepared by the contractors for bidding. Bidding is a competition process wherein ang aim ng mga contractors is to get the contract. Para ang mangyayari is paglalabanan pa nila ang contract through bid estimate na ipapasa sa client. Diba sa auction, kung sino yung highest bidder, sa kanya mapupunta yung item, which is opposite siya sa construction firm. Dito, kung sino yung lowest bidder or may pinakamababang cost estimate, then sa kanya mapupunta yung project and so the contract. Kasi syempre, ang mga client, mas pipiliin nila yung may mas mababang construction cost. Kaya, ang ginagawa ng ibang contractor is binababaan nila yung possible effort for making a cost estimate kasi malaking kawalan sa kanila if hindi nila makukuha yung project. For bid estimates, the unit cost method can also be applied even though the contractor may choose to decompose the project into different levels in a hierarchy as follows. Number 1. Subcontractor quotations. The decomposition of a project into the subcontractor items for quotation involves a minimum amount of work for the general contractor. However, the accuracy of the resulting estimate depends on the reliability of the subcontractors since the general contractor selects one among several contractor quotations submitted for each item or subcontracted work. Number 2. Quantity takeoffs. The decomposition of a project into items of quantities that are measured or taken off from the engineer's plan will result in a procedure similar to that adopted for a detailed estimate or an engineer's estimate by the design professional. The levels of detail may vary according to the desire of the general contractor and the availability of cost data. Quantity takeoffs are the detailed measurement of materials and labor needed to complete a construction project. Dito is dinedecomposed yung project to smaller and more manageable unit for easier measurements and estimates. Number 3 is the construction procedures. If the construction procedure of a proposed project is used as the basis of a cost estimate, the project may be decomposed into items such as labor, material, and equipment needed to perform various tasks in the projects. Sa construction procedure, kapag ang ginamit na basis for cost estimate ay yung procedure of the proposed project, nade-decompose yung project into labor, materials, and equipments. The last type of the construction estimate is the control estimate. For the owner, a budget estimate must be adopted early enough for planning long-term financing of the facility. Consequently, the detailed estimate is often used as the budget estimate since it is sufficient, definitive, to reflect the project scope and is available long before the engineer's estimate. As the work progresses, the budgeted cost must be revised periodically to reflect the estimated cost to completion. A revised estimated cost is necessary either because of change orders initiated by the owner or due to the unexpected cost overruns or savings. For the contractor, the bid estimate is usually regarded as the budget estimate, which will be used for control purposes as well as for planning construction financing. The budgeted cost should also be updated periodically to reflect the estimated cost to completion as well as to ensure adequate cash flows for the completion of the project. Ang control estimate ay ginagamit para ma-monitor ang project during the construction phase. The control estimate is derived from the budgeted cost, budget estimate for financing, and estimated cost to completion. Yung budgeted cost is na-acquire after ng contracting process or before mag-start yung construction phase, while yung estimated cost to completion is na-acquire siya during the progress of construction. For the owner, kailangan i-adapt niya ang budget estimate during the planning stage kasi makakatulong yon sa long-term financing of the facility. While para naman sa contractor, kailangan niyang i-adapt ang bid estimate as the budget estimate to control the purpose as part of construction planning. Yung budgeted cost, kailangan na-update siya periodically to ensure sufficient cash flow for the completion of the project.
Value engineering. Value engineering may be broadly defined as an organized approach in identifying unnecessary costs in design and construction and in soliciting or proposing alternative design or construction technology to reduce cost without sacrificing quality or performance requirements. Ito ay pag-modify ng design or process para tumaas yung value between benefits, functionality, at cost. Ang goal ng value engineering ay mag-reduce or mag-eliminate ng cost habang pinapataas yung quality or value. Ang value engineering ay involved sa design or sa planning stage ng proyekto. Kaya bago magtapos yung design at pagpaplano, kinakailangan na kumpleto yung value engineering para magpatuloy na sa bagong design ng bagong plano na meron ka. For example, kung ikaw ay contractor ng isang project, tapos yung owner gusto yung design, pero kuripot yung owner at namamahalan, yung value engineering niya yung bahala dito. They make it possible to have the same value pero lesser cost. Steps in value engineering. Gathering pertinent information. Ito yung pagkalap ng mga kailangan nating impormasyon para maintindihan natin yung ating project. Dito, kailangan nating i-evaluate at tignan kung ano ba yung objective ng owner. Mga kailangan materials, schedules, cost, at yung formal design. So dito, pwede tayong mag-gather ng mga similar projects sa ginagawa nating proyekto para mag-come up for possible options. Next is searching for creative ideas. Dito, ang team usually binubuo ng different professionals na may iba't ibang specializations ay kailangang mag-brainstorm para makabuo ng unique or creative na function para sa project, kung saan magfo-focus ang team para mapababa yung initial cost habang pinapataas naman ang value. Sa pag-brainstorm, ang pinakadapat kinoconsider ay yung kung gaano katagal-tatagal yung project, safety ng project, mga environmental factors, mga materials na mga kailangan, tsaka yung kung ano ang dapat i-consider base doon sa type ng foundation. Kahit na maliliit na detalye ay dapat pagtuunan ng pansin dito sa stage na ito. Dito rin ay dapat marami kang options or marami kayong idea na dapat may ambag bago magpatuloy sa pag-evaluate. Dahil mas maraming option, mas better. Evaluating the promising alternatives. Dito naman, after mag-come up ng different ideas, i-check yung advantages at disadvantages ng bawat ideas at paghahanayin. Pwedeng i-rank natin siya as alternative 1, 2, 3, and so on. Importante, habang nag-rank tayo from best to least, always natin i-consider ang magagastos natin or yung cost, purpose, design, at availability ng materials. Proposing a more cost-effective alternative. So, ito na yung final stage, kung saan pipili ka kung alin ang pinaka-the best alternative base doon sa evaluation stage. Alternative 1 is yung pinaka-recommended kasi ito yung masasabing most beneficial. After nyong makapili ng alternative, pwede nyo na itong mai-present bilang isang proposal. This approach is usually applied at the beginning of construction phase of project life cycle. The use of value engineering in the public sector of construction has been fostered by legislation and government regulation, but the approach has not been widely adopted in the private sector of construction. Base dito, ang value engineering ay essential. Ito ay ina-apply bago ang construction phase. Yung value engineering sa public sectors ay pinatupad or tinaguyod ng gobyerno. Ngunit hindi ito ina-apply or acknowledge ng private sectors ng construction. Dahil may malaking pagkakaiba sa private and public sectors. Tulad ng practice sa design ng engineering services. Sa public sector, yung bayad sa design services ay mahigpit ang pag-monitor. Check nila kung swak ba sa presyo ng merkado, kung tama ba yung presyo nito para sa design, kung walang pasobra or kulang, or pwede rin ito base sa lowest bid. Dahil dito, yung ibang designer ay kumukuha na lang ng idea sa ibang existing design na hindi na iniisip yung pwedeng maging ibang alternative para mapababa yung cost. Dahil napaka-risky, kung magdadagdag pa sila ng ibang alternative, mag-cost lamang ito ng iba't ibang risk. That is why kumukuha sila ng mga design na nagawa na upang hindi malagay sa alanganin ang construction. Ngunit yung mga contractors pwede naman magbigay ng different alternatives kung babayaran or bibigyan ng incentive ng owner dahil nakasave siya ng cost. Sa private sector naman, may kalayaang magbigay yung owner sa designer and contractor nang hindi na pinoproblema yung appearance ng service. Another source of cost saving from value engineering is the ability of contractors to take advantage of proprietary or unusual techniques and knowledge specific to the contractor's firm. For example, ikaw ay isang contractor na nag-specialize sa ganitong technique or nagawa mo na ito like tunneling method na wala namang naka-indicate sa original design at alam mong mas makakatipid ito sa construction. Maaari itong manalo sa bidding. Dahil kunyari, ikaw ang napili to work with a designer, pwede mo itong isuggest. So dito, sa value engineering, pwede magbago yung design. Mas nakaka-benefit ito sa project pero andun pa rin yung function. Low cost nga lang, mas mainam na yung new idea i-implement during planning and design phase.